again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thursday edition of Sport Today on the biggest of the platform on 105 FM. The 7 the latest and the biggest from the world of sports. Don't you worry, on the show this afternoon we look into the game that went on yesterday. The UEFA Champions League battle between Barcelona and Inter Milan, which ended in a 3-3 draw. What a game that we saw yesterday. Beautiful performance, high goal scoring performance from the both side. We get to listen to the coach of United later on the show as we focus on the Europa League and of course the Conference League. Chelsea big boys definitely they will be in action later today. In the camp of the Flying Eagles of Nigeria, it's going to be a big one between Nigeria and Tunisia right there at the AFCON Under-20 Nations Cup that is going down in Egypt. We'll look into that game on the show this afternoon. Don't forget the NWFL, the Nigerian Women Football League. We are done and dusted with the regular season. We take stories from tennis and of course in the world of NBA, what is going on. We give you the latest coming from the world of basketball. My name is Ayomikun Adeniyi. Of course, you can simply call me Purity. Guess what? I'm not alone in the studio. Samuel Akin today is here with me, and together I will be on the ride. Good afternoon to you, Samuel.
Good afternoon to you, Ayomikun. It's good to be back in the studio. Of course,
I mean, it's good to be back.
Yeah, of course,
it
feels good to have you. It feels good to have you back in the studio after a short time on the sideline. Let me put it that way. How's everything?
ACL is ACL is very real. So.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be in the studio to talk sports, and we are back in the studio. Of course, to go again this afternoon to review the actions that went down yesterday in the Mother of All League, the money spinning lucrative UEFA Champions League. I mean, what a game we saw, a proper Champions League clash between Barcelona and Inter Milan. High scoring Barcelona against a very solid Inter Milan, but I'd never even imagined the game could produce six goals. And it gave everything. It lived up to expectations. It produced the goals, it produced crazy moments, dribbles, I mean flair of Lamine Yamal. What a game we saw yesterday. It was an absolute cracker between the two sides, and we just have to wait until next week Tuesday to see how it's going to end at the San Siro, because the tie is far from over and it's going to be decided next. Of course, we also have to talk about the Europa League the actions tonight. Manchester United against Bilbao, like you said, Chelsea also in the Conference League. I mean, we have quite a number of interesting stories to touch today, and also in the AFCON Under-20 African Cup of Nations Under-20, Nigeria will be in action today. Flying Eagles, we also cannot wait to see them play. And let's just get straight into the conversation already.
All right, guys, let's start from football. Starting with the Champions League. Of course, the game that we saw yesterday. Before this game, we're talking about Inter Milan recent form, both in their league. Of course, they'll be struggling right there in the Italian Serie A. They lost their last game right there in the league. Coming back to play against high-flying Barcelona, and the game ended 3-3. Remember that in the first half of that game, we saw brief performance from Inter Milan, scoring two goals. In that game before
two early goals
before Barcelona came back into the party.
Honestly, I must commend Inter Milan for that fantastic performance, regardless of the fact that they could not hold on to their 2-goal lead in the first half. But you can see that they were very, very good, especially offensively yesterday. I never expected them to score 3 goals because of their current form. Prior to that game, they played 3 games and they lost 3 consecutive games domestically. They lost in the league to Bologna, they lost to AC Milan in the Coppa Italia before losing to AS Roma again, and they didn't score a single goal in those 3 games. They conceded 5 goals. So there were talks that, I mean, can they show up against Barcelona yesterday? But they just proved to us that their impressive run in the UEFA Champions is not a fluke. I mean, prior to that game yesterday, they've only conceded 5 goals. And they conceded 3 goals yesterday. Although a lot of people were saying that they disappointed the fact that they bottled their 2-goal lead. They expected them to be more defensively.
Against high-flying Barcelona, attacking wise. I mean, we saw what Lamine Yamal did yesterday. Very impressive from the left-hand side.
Some people forget that you are up against high-scoring Barcelona team who
have scored more goals
than any other team in the European top 5 league this season. They have scored 158 goals across one competition this season.
That's massive.
3 goals they scored yesterday made it 40 goals in the UEFA Champions League
this season.
So you should know that whenever you are playing against Barcelona, whether you are very good at the back, you cannot contain the attack. So you just have to.
You are solid behind.
I don't want to know whether.
And
the fact that the game was even played in Spain yesterday, for Inter Milan traveling all the way from Italy to Spain to actually score 3 goals against Barcelona, I was not expecting that performance considering their recent form. But Inzaghi really played very well. I mean, he really tried with his tactic yesterday. I mean, ensuring that there was stability in the midfield as well as the offensive play, scoring 2 goals quite early in the game. But unfortunately, they were up against a very, very deadly attack. Lamine Yamal doing the, getting the job done for Barcelona, doing the things for them. Rafinha also from the other flank. Ferran Torres, this guy is very, very good.
Very solid in the
very solid in the midfield. So it was a proper clash, a proper UEFA Champions League game. 3-3 is ended. So I would not blame Inter Milan for bottling 2-goal lead. They were up against IS Corinthians. You expect Barcelona to score. Definitely, they would definitely score, and that's what happened yesterday.
Okay, let me take you back to year 2022, which this side meant right there in the Champions League. The first leg at home for Barcelona ended in a 3-3 draw, but the second leg at the San Siro Stadium, Inter Milan won that game by a lone goal. So are we expecting that to happen at the San Siro later next week?
I was expecting you to actually talk about 2010 because that was the last time they met in the semi-finals. Obviously, the last time they met in 2022 was in the group stage.
Yes.
So when we are talking about this stage of the competition, we have to travel back to 2010.
Which the first leg Barcelona won.
No. Inter Milan won 3-1 at San Siro.
Okay.
So second leg they lost 1-0 at Camp Nou, but they qualified 3-2 on aggregate. So I think this is quite different from what we saw in 2010. Why? Because Barcelona now, whether you are playing against, whether they are playing against a very solid defense side, they will score.
So we should expect them to score.
So we expect. I know that Inter Milan will fancy the chance of playing at home next week, that they are playing in San Siro.
Remember,
but don't forget, exactly. So it's still balanced. It's an open game, 50-50. And also remember, Bayern Munich scored 2 goals at the San Siro in the quarterfinal. So for me, I expect Barcelona to go there. If Inter Milan can score 3 goals away from home yesterday, Barcelona can also go there and score 3 goals and score more than. So it's still very open. But I just like the fact that the game lived up to expectation. It's a balanced tie. It's a very open game, and we all believe that if there is a team that can stop Barcelona, this is scoring Barcelona, it is definitely Inter Milan, because of their solid defense, their defense solidity, their organization at the back, and also their fast-paced attack. They are very good in transition. When they pick up the ball, it's always very, very easy for them to move faster and they and also use the flanks. But quite unfortunate that Lautaro Martinez left the pitch in the second half due to injury. But it was a very good game for Simon Inzaghi. I mean, Dumfries getting 2 goals and 1 assist, even as an inverted wing back. It was a very good game for these guys. They played very well. And also Rafinha, Lamine Yamal. I mean,
Marcus Thuram,
at 17, Lamine Yamal is getting the job done for Barcelona. You wonder what this guy would do.
The time we come where we start to talk about Lamine Yamal winning the world base, as the case may be.
The time is now, because I've been seeing talks. A lot of people have been saying that he's currently the best player in the world.
Definitely.
And this is what you get when you are showing up
last year
on the big stage.
He won the
and he won the Golden Ball last year. So for me, he has been very, very decent, a proper wonder kid, proper player, very good player. I begin to say that maybe the god of soccer actually brought this guy, to people who were unfortunate, who could not watch Messi play. So because when you watch this guy, what comes to your mind is Lionel Messi.
Definitely.
Because he's so. I mean at 17,
the moves yesterday, I'm going to wonder.
He has even done more than Messi and Ronaldo did at 17. He has scored more goals. Yesterday was even historical for him because he played his 100 games for Barcelona at 17. Look at that, massive. And he's also a very key figure in the Spanish national team. So Barcelona have a very proper talent, a good talent in their hands. It's just, we just have to wait and see how this guy will go in his career.
All right, away from the Champions League, ladies and gentlemen, let's travel back to the Europa League. 2 games will be going down today. We'll probably playing against United, Tottenham Hotspur against Bodo Glimt. What a game that we are expecting from that match.
Yeah, You see, the Europa game, of course, between Manchester United and Athletic Bilbao, will definitely get the attention tonight. And of course, you should know that. You know the reason because it's a big game for Manchester United. It's also a big game.
It's a must-win.
Yeah,
for
it's
United.
a must-win.
To me personally, I believe it's a must-win for United.
It's a must-win for United. Of course, it's a must-win for Athletic Bilbao, where they are at home. And you know, this game is of course is probably the biggest game of Manchester United this season. Although every game in Europa this season is considered as the biggest for Manchester United this season. Why? Because winning Europa League, you know, we take them to UEFA Champions League next season. Of course, winning Europa League might not solve all their problems, but it will solve some of the problem because it will give them chance and opportunity of playing UEFA Champions League football, which means more money to spend in the summer. So they know that the importance of this game cannot be overemphasized. The players know, everybody know that they just have to, you know, get something away from home today. But I will tell you, this game is going to be very, very difficult for Manchester United. And I will tell you 3 reasons why I believe so.
Give me the 3 reasons, let's say.
Now, the first reason is the antecedent of Manchester United against a Spanish side.
All right.
The Manchester United have always struggled against Spanish teams. That's the record. The last 4 meetings between Manchester United and Athletic Bilbao won 3 games. Manchester United only.
I mean, they met in the year 2012 and they defeated United.
Home and away. So, in the last 4 meetings, Bilbao won 3, Manchester United won 1. So, based on antecedents, Manchester United cannot boast of a good and a better record against Spanish side. They've always, you know, have it difficult. They've always endure intensity against Spanish team. Another reason also is the motivation going into this game. I believe Manchester United have a whole lot of motivation because they want to play in the UEFA Champions League next season, and they know that the only opportunity, the only route to play in the Champions League is winning the Europa League. Of course, we know, which is very possible. However, Athletic Bilbao also have motivation because the final of this game will be staged on their home soil. The final will be played in Bilbao. So you know that when players begin to see that, okay, this competition, the final will be played
maybe it's coming
at home. Maybe it's coming on. So they will definitely want to play in the final. Another point, which of course is even the biggest of all, is, you know, the form of Athletic Bilbao and their setup. I've taken my time to watch these teams, and I can tell you that they are very good at the back. They play similar to Inter Milan. In fact, I will call them
very solid.
I will call them the Spanish Inter Milan because of their defensive solidity, their organization, their setup, the way they move, you know, from defense to attack, the way they transition. They also have a very fast-paced attack. The two Williams, talking about Iñaki Williams and Nico Williams, they always like to explore their wings. So it's going to be very, very difficult game for Manchester United tonight. Manchester United, how can they, you know, penetrate the defense of, you know, Athletic Bilbao? Athletic Bilbao, they've conceded the fewest goals in La Liga this season. They have highest clean sheets in La Liga this season. Even in Europa, they have not lost a single goal at home, a single game at home in Europa this season. So it's going to be very, very difficult for Manchester United. But let's wait and see what happens tonight.
All right, City Boy, let's listen to Ruben Amorim talking about the game that will be going down later today, right there in Spain.
To start, no, but they can be on the squad to the game, and the rest of the players we have. Game tomorrow, then we have to train here Friday, so we need to prepare not just this game, play this game, but also prepare the next game against Brentford. So we took a lot of, especially young kids, to prepare the next game.
Does it feel like there's a different edge around the team heading into this match, given the importance of it?
Not just in the team, but in the fans, in you guys also. So it's everybody knows that is really important for our season. We know that nothing is going to save our season, but this can be huge, winning a trophy, and also to get in Champions League, to have European League.
All right, so Ruben Amorim talking about the game that will be going down later this evening. Just like you said, it's going to be a big one for United.
He said that nothing is going to change their season, but this can be huge. So it's just to tell you the importance of this game. But the question is, how will Man U, you know, how will United with their poor attack cope and penetrate the defense, the solid defense of Athletic Bilbao?
All right, only time we tell. Let's talk about short-term sports against Bodo Glimt. another game we are looking forward to see this evening.
Tottenham will be playing at home. I expect them to get a win
You expect
because, of course, they also
I mean, I think they have a better chance.
of getting to the final.
The final.
Yeah, because of course you cannot compare Bodo Glimt and Athletic Bilbao. So
That's all.
maybe, but we cannot still underestimate the power of Bodo Glimt. In Norwegian, the first Norwegian to qualify for the semi-final of any European competition.
I saw them at the quarterfinals, and I saw the way they set up their games. Also,
They played against United in the group phase, in the league phase format rather. And I can tell you that they are also a very decent side.
All right, let's go for this short commercial break. When we return, we talk about Chelsea game and look into the camp of the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
On the 103.5 FM.
Imagine having the freedom to work, play, and connect without interruptions. That is what fast internet means to us. At Highwood Networks, we are passionate about delivering super fast, unlimited internet that is 6 times faster than the competition. Whether you're working from home, running a business, or streaming your favorite shows, we've got you covered. A reliable internet and 24/7 customer support ensure you stay connected always. So what are you waiting for? Join the iWorld Networks family today and discover a seamless internet experience. Call Jeffrey on 081 3058 9466 or visit our website www.iwn.ng to get started. iWorld Networks, connected possibilities.
On the 103.5 FM.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. You are still on to Sport today on 103.5 FM. Yes, you can join the conversation live on Facebook. What are we expecting this evening? Big game between Atletico Bilbao and United. Chelsea also will be in action later today. Chelsea are the bigger boys right there at the Conference League.
Yeah, of course they are the bigger boys, and you expect them to get to the final. They are playing. I don't even know how to pronounce the name of the club they are playing.
Chelsea are playing against guys that I mean.
Yeah, I don't even know. I've not heard about them.
So they should.
it should be working in the park for them. Even is
But
true.
it is football anyway.
Yeah,
Anything can
and
just
this is
happen.
semi-final.
You never can tell.
You never can tell. Yeah, I believe that Chelsea would definitely make it to the final. I cannot wait to see Chelsea against one of Real Betis, either Real Betis or Fiorentina in the final. I think that will make a proper final of the Conference League, and also give the league a very good publicity and the PR, just to to sell tickets and make it a very huge occasion in the final. However, for Chelsea, they also know that the only opportunity of lifting a silverware this season is the Conference League. Definitely. So regardless of the fact that they are playing a lesser side tonight, they should know the importance of this game. They should go all out and get the job done. They are going away from home today. Good one for them. If they can get a win, they will complete the job at the Stamford Bridge. Yeah. Of course, in the league, they are not really sure if they will make it to the Champions League.
Yeah.
But their Europa, their Europa position is secured. If they cannot do it via the league, they will win the conference and go to Europa. But I think Chelsea can still, make it to the Champions League via the Premier League table. But for Tottenham Hotspur tonight against, Bodo Glimt, like I said, it's a 50-50. I believe Tottenham Hotspur. Some will say that Tottenham Hotspur are big on paper, but I mean, this is also a team that has not played in the semi-final. This is the first time that they will be playing in the semi-final, and they made history becoming the first Norwegian side to qualify to the semi-final of any European competition. So you could see the motivation also. They will also want to go and make all the way to the final, and so it's also it's a reclash. But I believe Tottenham Hotspur have the quality in their camp, the likes of Heung-min Son, the likes of Richarlison, Sri Lanka. I mean, their players are very, very good. They have the very good defense as well. So let's just wait and see what happens tonight. But I believe Tottenham Hotspur will make it to the final. But for Manchester United, I'm not really sure because of the defensive solidity of Athletic Bilbao. Their defensive record in the Europa League is second to none. Even in La Liga, they are fourth on the log in the Spanish La Liga. Right. They've conceded the fewest goals this season in La Liga and even in Europa. So, but for Manchester United, you know, the only problems Manchester United are facing this season is their inability to convert their chances. They lack a proper striker, and so how will them go with a poor attack to actually get past this solid athletic defense? So let's just wait and see what happens. Maybe the coming back of Ahmad, because Ahmad is back, he traveled with the squad, maybe can also add some spark to the attack. This guy has not played since February and is back in the team. Let's see. But I don't expect him to start this night.
Maybe he will just come from the bench. And let's see what will happen. On Facebook, we have Tobatele Oluwakayo. They're saying happy new month up Gunners from Ayileka or Remejiba.
Yeah, happy new month. I forgot to say that. Happy new month to you. We wish you all the best of May.
These are Gunners fans, even though they lost.
That's what I'm saying. I wish him all the best in the month of May, because the second leg in Park the Princess next week Wednesday.
Well, it's a must win for them away from home.
Yes.
Maybe they can still do that. I still believe. But then it's difficult for us now. I checked through the record, and I saw that it's difficult for us to do comeback.
They have not done a comeback. They have not come back from a tie that they lost at home. When they lost at home in the first leg, they've tried it for 4 times. They failed every time. But you know, history can be. History can be
meant to be broken.
Record are meant to be broken. History can be rewritten at any time. They can also draw inspiration from their women's team. Don't forget, Lyon came to England, defeated Arsenal ladies 2-1. What happened in the second leg?
They went there. France,
they did a remontada, 4-1.
That's the biggest montada also.
This season. So maybe Arsenal can also draw inspiration from that and make something happen next week.
All right, let's see if they will do that. And for Barcelona female team, we know they are already at the final waiting for us now.
What happened? What happened against Chelsea? Tell me.
Chelsea lost. I don't have a business with that.
Well, congratulations to Chelsea women. They won another title yesterday.
They are used to winning titles when it comes to
domestic title.
Going to the European scene is always a big deal for them.
Especially when they play against Barcelona Femini.
Come on.
They've always been their greatest.
Maybe they just signed the coach of Barcelona.
They just signed the coach of the most successful side. So it's not about the coach.
Chelsea and signings. It's always funny. All right, let's go straight to the African now. Talking about the AFCON Under-20 Nations Cup that is ongoing in Egypt. Just yesterday, we saw some interesting results. Even though they host Egypt, they lost to Sierra Leone by 4-1, and South Africa, after losing their first game, they went back to winning ways against Tanzania. They won the game by a lone goal. Today, the Flying Eagles of Nigeria will be in action against Tunisia.
First of all, that Sierra Leone against Egypt yesterday was unbelievable. It was a whitewash. Total whitewash from Sierra Leone. The host nation, 4-1, not just 1 or 2 or 3, 4 goals. They are now topping the table. Group A, 4 points. Egypt 3 points. South Africa, after losing their first game, they came back yesterday to winning ways and they won 3 points. Also for Nigeria today, all eyes will be on Coach Tubar's boys. Of course, against Tunisia. Highly rated North African side, but I believe Nigeria will win today. I believe the boys are in high spirit, they are in good spirit, and you look at the games they played before this tournament. They played a pre-AFCON friendly against Egypt. They defeated the young Pharaohs by 2-1. So I think they have quality in that team as well. The likes of Jefta Clinton, that boy from Iyimba. They also have their captain is also very Bamai. He's also a very good player. So what I don't really want to wax lyrical until they prove with a very good performance today, but I just believe that they can go all the way. Winning Tunisia should not be a big day for them, considering their qualities.
Let's listen to the coach of the Flying Eagles right about now, Ali Zubaru, talking about what we should expect later today against Tunisia.
And the priority is the ticket to the World Cup. We all know that Nigerians are we still remain with the same plan. We first of all want to get the ticket to the World Cup. If we start putting too much pressure on the boys, they may lose focus, and it may come out to be a pressure. So the most important thing now is for us to get to the ticket, get to semi-final stage. By the time we do that, we are going to sit and agree on whether to go and win the trophy. And definitely when we get there, we'll decide on that. But for now, the most important thing and the priority is the ticket to the World Cup. We all know that Nigerians are so emotional and so attached to any national team that is outside representing Nigeria. And I believe their support and prayers will go a long way. And I promise we are not going to let them down. So they should continue to pray for the team. By God's grace, at the end of the tournament, we'll make them happy.
So we should continue to pray for.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's not putting pressure on the boys. The main target, the main focus, the mandate is to get the ticket to the World Cup. And how can they do that? They need to get to the semi-finals of this competition. Don't forget they won the WAFU B qualifiers in Togo last year.
Yeah.
So I believe, like I said, they have quality in that camp. And with a 23-man squad that they release that we go to represent Nigeria, I just hope that they will definitely pick the tickets. If they cannot lift this trophy, at least get to the semi-final first. Pick the tickets to the World Cup that will be played in Chile. So let's just later in Chile. So let's just hope that, of course, the mandates will be delivered by Coach.
All right. Lastly on the show, guys, let's take stories from the world of NBA. As of this morning, the Lakers they lost against the Minnesota Timberwolves 103-96. So the Lakers are out of the playoff. More to play for between Golden State Warriors and Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets, they won this morning, recording 133 points to 116 points.
That was a very, very commanding win from Houston Rockets. 131 points to 116 points. Quite unfortunate for Golden State Warriors, but they are still in the playoff. But for LA Lakers, I mean, they've been very, very poor. I mean, 96 Minnesota Timberwolves 103 to 96. I think they are out of the playoff already.
Definitely, even with the likes of LeBron James.
It's quite unfortunate for them with the qualities that they have there. Well, it is what it is. When you fail to do the needful, I mean, you just you lose the game. So for them, they just have to regroup and go back next season.
All right, let's see what will happen next season. City Boy, step 7. People are here on the show.
Of course, we'll be back tomorrow, big and better. Of course, it's going to be interesting tomorrow because we will review the action that will go down later today between Nigeria and Tunisia under 20 and also the European scene, the games that we have on the European scene. So we'll be back tomorrow.
Until I come your way again later tomorrow, my name is Ayomikun Adeniyi. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay out of trouble. I'm out of the studio.
Music.
The generator carry feelings for we them up.
Sport. Education, culture, impacts, information, varieties, business, entertainment.